Good morning, my love muffins. This is Reverend Sue from All Paths to God, recording live from my living room. And here we are in July. Who can believe it's the middle of the summer already? And I know my traveling group is missing our trip to DC to see Amma and commune with the thousands of people that go to share the blessing of this hugging saint. But I guess, like everyone else, she's practicing social distancing and isn't doing any saintly hugging. And I had hoped to have news for you about the potential proposal of the new church, but I haven't heard yet, so I have no idea whether that means they got into another delay or whether, in fact, that is a done deed. And as soon as I do know, I will be sharing it with you all. And the truth of the matter is, we can't even imagine anytime soon that we would be coming together. Our primary focus right now is just on risk-reducing behaviors. We want to keep all our people safe. But in the discussions that Reverend Denise and I have had, we are not willing to wait anymore for things to go back to the way they were. We are finally of the conclusion that they're never going back to the way they were, and there is only moving forward from here. And so we're going to make a new way. And I'm sure we'll do a lot of trial and error and experimentation until we find what works for people. I know that our Sunday high noon Zoom meeting is not the way, so we'll discontinue that effective today. There just wasn't enough interest. And the foundation class did not have enough people sign up for us to host that at this time. Maybe we could do just a Zoom Science of Mind study group, something much more casual, kind of like a Bible study group. If people are interested in that, they can let us know on our Facebook page. And Reverend Denise suggested that we video something called Chatting with the Revs, and that people submit questions that they have about principle or practice, the personal journeys, and the two of us can discuss them and answer them via video and then post it on Facebook. So if people are interested in that, you can give us some feedback. And we're wide open to any suggestions that you have. But we will make a new way of this, we're certain. The one thing we're sure we won't stop doing is sharing this spiritual journey with our peeps. You know, I've said many, many times, this is a journey that you have to walk yourself, but you can't walk alone. We're too dependent on each other for inspiration, for lifting us out of ruts when we find ourselves subconsciously in them, and to just share ideas and learning to help us grow into this belief system. So, please submit any ideas you have of how we can stay connected and stay sharing. And so, happy 4th plus a day of July. I actually expected, because of the social distancing and some of the ordinances for gathering, that there wouldn't be fireworks last night. However, I enjoyed riding around on my bicycle for an hour, seeing fireworks shows all over Sun City Center, so it was beautiful. So we did celebrate Independence Day. You know, the Declaration of Independence probably contains the most well-known and powerful statement in the English language. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Independence Day. So we celebrated the birth of America, independent country, a country not ruled by church, not ruled by a monarchy, a country governed by the people and for the people. A country free to create whatever vision we choose to hold of ourselves and for ourselves. Free. Well, that's certainly in line with what we New Thoughters believe we are endowed with by gift, blessing of our divine Creator. Spiritually speaking, freedom is a conceptual giant for we New Thoughters too. Free will, freedom of choice, free to be me. That's the very definition of independence. So we are blessed to live in a country that cherishes freedom, not because we're better than or more deserving than anyone else, but because we are genuinely free to pursue happiness. And for us on this spiritual journey, this begs the question, pursue happiness where? Is happiness something? Is it something to be found? Is it something we can get, that we can have and we can hold? Is it something that we can buy or earn or win and then clutch onto it? Or perhaps happiness is someone that we can woo and charm and befriend and then clutch onto them. I had the image of a caveman cartoon, where they club the woman and grab her by the ponytail and drag her back to the cave. And is happiness something we can conquer, that we can capture, that we can hang on to? Or maybe happiness is somewhere to which we can go, escape, retreat, going back home, going to the mountaintop, somewhere over the rainbow. Where do we pursue this idea of happiness? Is it something that we pursue? Well, we believe the answer is a decisive no, yes. Strictly spiritually speaking, happiness is not something. It's not something we can own or earn or journey to. It's not something we can have and hold and clutch onto. Happiness is not something we can find. It's only something that we can be. So in the spiritual idea of happiness, happiness is not about getting or having or doing or wooing or going. It's simply about being. It's from growing our awareness that happiness is us. We are happiness's home. Its natural habitat is inside of us. We are the vehicle of expression for happiness. We don't get it, we don't earn it, we don't win it, or even create it. Happiness is our nature. We only create conditions for it to flow in greater or lesser abundance. Know the truth? I always hear you. And the truth shall set us free. Truth is the only source of real happiness. That uncaused, infinite, eternal happiness. Happiness that is a state of our being. Consequently, only what is compatible with our true being can make us happy. But remember, to be our true self, we must be our whole self. And to be our whole self, we must be our spiritual self and our human self working in harmony. And to be our spiritual self and our human self working in harmony, we have to be our human self working in harmony with all of its aspects, meaning our thinking and our feeling and our actions and all need to be congruent. Our spiritual self and our human self. Thus, the pursuit of happiness is not something, because it's a state of being, which is why we answered the question no, and is something, because in finding a way to grow into the truth of who we are, to pursue happiness, it also has to be a thing of the world, because we can only pursue happiness via the vehicle of our human self, the physical, the here and now self, of the mind and thoughts and feelings and actions self. So yes, happy Independence Day. We are blessed to be Americans, to live in a country founded on freedom, because freedom is a necessity to discovering and revealing the truth of who we are. And happy Independence Way, because we can only make that discovery, that revelation, through cooperating with the divine, with spiritual law, with our spiritual expansion and evolution. Ernest Holmes said that through the eons of time, life has slowly been climbing the ladder of unfoldment to the present self-conscious state, where humanity now has the power of free will. Now, if we're to continue to progress, we must take matters into our own hands, which is right where God lovingly placed them. Consciousness creates, thoughts are things. Thoughts create, but the thinker creates the thoughts. This is the spiritual way. So, happy Independence Way. That's why on our spiritual journey, in our spiritual practice, we're always on a thought watch and noticing if the thoughts we create are likely to create the circumstances and conditions we want to experience in our life. Are we using our God bless America free human self in the actual pursuit of happiness? Or more accurately, in the establishment and the development of a mindset of happiness, to grow and flow the real truth of who we are, that inner happiness that's a state of being in our lives. Know the truth, and the truth shall set us free. Well, for some reason I noticed this week an opportunity for a shift to better and higher use of our blessings, of our freedom to pursue happiness, to create. I noticed this concept we call anticipatory anxiety, which is thinking about or worrying about what can go wrong in the future. Not something that actually happened, but something that we anticipate is going to happen. It's a fear-based focus and experience, which unfortunately has a 1-2 creative potency, that thinking feeling combo that moves the law to produce like form. Anticipatory anxiety is a mind game we play on ourselves by imagining worst case scenarios. We have anticipatory anxiety over ordinary events. Will there be traffic? Will I get there on time? Will I get caught in a downpour? Will there be toilet paper when I go to the store? And anticipatory anxiety is something we have over less ordinary events, hurricanes, the airplane crashing, global pandemics. And anticipatory anxiety triggers a fear response. You know, a racing heart and sweaty palms and butterflies in our stomach and muscle tension and nausea and shortness of breath. And if it's severe enough, it can even make us think we're having a heart attack. And once these feelings are triggered, we have that 1-2 combination of thoughts and feelings that speak directly to the law that creates. And our actions will follow this combination of thoughts and feelings. It dictates that we react accordingly, fight or flight. So we go into rebellion in response or in total avoidance. Well, a common example to which most people can relate is making a speech, giving a talk in front of people. Even sitting in a room, can you imagine sitting in a group in a class where someone simply says, we're going to go around the room and introduce ourselves and, you know, just share why you're here tonight. And immediately you can relate to that sense of anxiety we get about speaking. It's a fear-based focus. We fear we'll say something or do something wrong or stupid and make fools out of ourselves. And so we do avoid it like the plague. You know the saying, I'd rather sit down and have people think I'm a fool than stand up and prove it. Well, I noticed a lot of anticipatory anxiety this week. Where? Well, this will come as a really big surprise to you. In health-related issues, politics, and economics. I heard some chilling and intensely emotional worst case scenarios on these subjects, from, you know, our health being an issue of Mother Earth cleansing herself of our population to, you know, there being a civil war in our country, to global poverty being something we're going to experience. I'll just say this, if consciousness creates, and we believe it does, and if thoughts are things, and we believe they are, especially that 1-2 combination of thoughts and feelings, then we're seriously misusing what God put into our hands. And we are definitely not on the path to the pursuit of happiness. And I have anticipatory anxiety about what we are creating. See how contagious that is? See how it works, where it travels through our consciousness? Talk about an infectious disease. So it's time to revisit our blessings, which is why I focus today on Happy Independence Day and Happy Independence Way. Happy Independence Day, Happy Freedom Day, Happy Unalienable Rights, including to the Pursuit of Happiness Day, month, year, lifetime. This is a gift that we have by virtue of being an American. And Happy Independence Way, well, happy take matters into our own hands, right where God put them way. Happy thoughts create things, but the thinker creates the thoughts day. Independence Day and Independence Way, what a great combination. But anticipatory anxiety is a bad seed to plant in this fertile soil. It surely doesn't bode well for our pursuit of happiness. So, your mission, my friends, if you so choose to accept it, is to develop anticipatory happiness. Anticipatory happiness. Let's use our freedom that we're blessed with in this country to pursue happiness. And let's use our power to create, and that the Father that doeth the work within placed firmly in our hands, in our minds. And instead of harping on anticipatory anxiety, let's dwell on anticipatory happiness. Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? It's kind of a close relationship to last week's mission, to replace Murphy's Law thinking that if anything will go wrong, it will, and at the worst possible moment thinking, with Sparky's Law thinking, with if anything can go right, it will, and at the most opportune moment. So our mission this week is to replace our anticipatory anxiety thinking with anticipatory happiness thinking. So what are you going to do after you're finished watching this video? Whatever it is, notice if you anticipate happiness being a piece of that. What are you going to eat today? When you think about it, do you anticipate happiness? Who are you going to be with? Who are you going to see? Who are you going to talk to today? Play the deliberate mind game of anticipatory happiness. Expect it to bring joy to your heart. It's the truth of who you are. It's the truth of who they are. So what are you going to think and feel about in a dwell on it kind of way when you watch the news tonight? Or when you think about what will tomorrow bring? It really doesn't matter if it's predominantly defined by anticipatory happiness. Independence Day, freedom. Freedom to explore, discover, decide, become. What a blessing. Independence Way, freedom. Freedom to climb the spiritual ladder, to rise. Freedom to expand and evolve and unfold. What a blessing. Anticipatory happiness, freedom. Freedom to be, to express, to experience our true, infinite, eternal happiness. What a blessing. There are so many blessings in our journey. So, my friends, practice with me. Anticipatory happiness. We may not be the people who will deliver us to our destiny, but we are surely growing into them. We can't go back and make a new start, but we can start now and make a new ending. We are the people. Now is the time, and this is the way. Namaste, my friends.